Hello and welcome to episode 14 of Game Patrol. I'm your host, Landon Plumley, and hey guys, how's it going? What's up? I think it's funny how, I don't even know how many episodes I've done in a row where I've had that exact thing where it's like I have like a pretty professional startup, and then it's just like a, hey guys, because I honestly wing it most of the time, and so I don't really plan my stuff ahead, and so yeah, that stuff. So we're going to do a couple housekeeping things first before we get into things. First off, Smorf, Pedro, and Delilah are not with us this week. So what's going on upstairs? But if you haven't noticed, the setup has changed a little bit. It's not what I had yesterday because I'm back home for the week. I've been taking care of different appointments and everything because with COVID, we don't want to be traveling more than I need to be. And so I'm taking care of all my appointments now, and then I'm not coming back home until November. So, yeah, this week is just sort of my get everything done here at home and then go back to college, that sort of stuff. So, yeah. And with that, I had them ready to go, but I forgot to bring them with me. So the glorious pandas are not with me this week. It is very saddening. I know I have failed you all. But yeah, their presence, I know even my audio listeners can feel the lack of their presence. I am sincerely sorry. It is a regrettable error. I will try better in the future. But also, there was something, I had stuff planned. I swear I did. I need to actually write this stuff down. But, so I was going to have a video tomorrow, like I said, for my YouTube channel, for my YouTube watchers. And if you don't watch me on YouTube, go look me up at PandaMaster. I post videos at least once a week. I'm trying to do twice a week because I was supposed to, I wanted to put up a video tomorrow. But I was really concerned with how similar it would be to the podcast. Basically just the exact same stuff I would say on the podcast, but more heavily produced. And so I eventually scrapped the idea. However, the only reason I scrapped the idea is because I came up with a different one that I'm going to start working on Monday just because it is bigger than myself. And so I just physically can't have it ready for tomorrow. But next Friday, we're going to have a pretty special video, something I'm really excited about, and I hope you guys enjoy. So rest assured, I am working on stuff, other things for the channel, to my YouTube watchers. But, yeah, it's not going to be anything tomorrow. Apologies for that. All fun stuff. Also, make sure to go follow me on Twitch if you haven't already at PandaMaster Twitch. I hit 25 followers this week, and yeah, things have been going really well. Last night I streamed Battletoads, which we're going to talk a little bit about here in a second. But it was really cool, and I'm going to stream some more Battletoads because it was really fun. And so, yeah, I've been streaming a bunch of stuff this week. It's been really cool. It's been really fun. So make sure, if you aren't already, go follow me on there because we have a good time doing some live streams and stuff. Anyway, housekeeping out of the way, we're going to talk about some games coming this week, the first of which is today, and that is Battletoads. Like I said, we just talked about it. It is coming out on PC and Xbox One. It is out now. Over-the-top combat with combos and hard-hitting morph attacks, wild, varied gameplay sequences for all types of gamers, hand-drawing animation feels like playing a cartoon, dropping couch co-op for 3 players. So, I mean, that's just like a little quick list of the features and things for Battletoads. And let me tell you guys, so again, I want to start off by saying I really enjoyed this game. But this game has not been marketed whatsoever. Actually, I want to see here real quick. I want to see what the price of this game was because we were not even told the price of this game. I have it through Game Pass, so it's not something that I personally need to worry about. But for non-Game Pass subscribers, it unlocks for Steam. And, I mean, for you guys, it'll already be unlocked on Steam. But for me, it still doesn't unlock on Steam for another hour. Okay, so it's a $20 game. It's a $20 game. So that's, I mean, honestly, that, to me, determines a lot of, the content. Because I was looking at reviews, not super heavily, but I was just curious to see what other people thought. And one of the criticisms was was a shorter length. But for $20, I mean, that's acceptable. I streamed it for 2 hours yesterday. And I don't know how far I got, but, I didn't beat the game, so, as long as I get over 2 hours of content for $20, I mean, it's pretty good. It's pretty. I mean, I don't know. Like, I'm not going to criticize a $20 game for being longer than 2 hours, because I've seen more expensive games be less. So yeah. But anyway, there was no marketing for this game whatsoever. Again, you couldn't pre-order the game. You still can't pre-order the game. Like I said, like it's another hour for me until it launches on Steam, and you can't pre-order it because there was no price given. And the only reason there's a price on the Xbox store is because it's out now on the Xbox store. It came out at midnight. So it's kind of nuts. It's kind of nuts. I mean, it seems like Phil Spencer just really didn't care about this. I mean, okay, let's not put all the blame on Phil. I mean, Xbox is more than just Phil, but like, it seems like Microsoft just didn't have much faith in this game, and so they put absolutely no money into marketing and just are quietly releasing it because no one knows about it, which is crazy because people were so excited for Battletoads. I mean, Phil Spencer would come out in a Battletoads shirt at E3, and people were like, oh, are they going to announce Battletoads? Which, speaking of E3, I am wearing for my YouTube listeners out there, I'm wearing my Man of Medan shirt that I got at last year's E3. I was so excited to get a bunch more swag this year, but then COVID canceled it because COVID sucks. But, yeah, I got this shirt at E3 for playing Man of Medan, which I thought was very, okay. That's why I never bought it, but I've almost bought it for the co-op stuff because I think that's really cool, but otherwise, yeah. And so, and I say that as a fan of Until Dawn. Like, I thought Man of Medan was just very okay. It was very samey. But anyway, Battletoads. Yeah, they just have done nothing with it. And it's the fact that people were excited for this game, and now, like, no one really knows it's coming out. Like, no one knows. No one's talking about it. But it's out, and it's really fun. I really enjoyed it. Like I said, I played it for a couple hours last night right at launch, and I think it's fun. One of the dumb things that I will make you aware of is it even kind of says it, but it says it in a way that you wouldn't think. Like, it's not explicitly stated, because it says drop in couch co-op. There's no online co-op, so you can't play with your friends online, which is one, weird, because if anything, usually games have online co-op and not couch co-op. So for it to be the opposite is really, really strange in 2020. Also pretty tone deaf for what's going on right now. I mean, we're in the middle of a pandemic where people shouldn't be going to people's houses, and you made a game exclusively couch co-op. That's, yeah, kind of tone deaf, but yeah, there's definitely, like, this game is no game of the year. That is 100% certain. But I mean, it's difficult for me to place now. But I honestly think that this is similar to Shovel Knight in the sense that Shovel Knight is a love letter to 8-bit games. Battletoads is a love letter to 90s games, to 90s arcade games. That's what Battletoads feels like to me. I mean, I said it multiple times on stream, but, like, I literally felt like I was in the Banditos arcade because the arcades were a little bit ahead of my time. I mean, there are still a few obviously around, but I mean, like, my arcade as a kid was, like I said, at the Banditos, which just so. But I felt like I was in Banditos playing arcade games, like while I was playing Battletoads. Like that was what was triggering all of the chemicals in my brain and everything like that. And so I don't know, man. I don't know, but. Yeah, I think Battletoads is really fun. I don't think it's, like, necessarily groundbreaking. I do think it does some things to spice things up. Like, I don't think it's just a carbon copy of arcade games. I think it does some really cool stuff. Yeah, I think it's a great game. And, like, it's written extremely well. It does, like, aesthetically, it looks like a cartoon. And they even have, like, cartoon set pieces. I saw on IGN's review that they want a Battletoads show now. And I totally agree. I would love to see it on, like, Nickelodeon or something like that. I mean, honestly, I would rather it be on, like, Hulu or, HBO Now, something I have because nobody has cable anymore. But, like, like, I just could see it being on Nickelodeon. I feel like this is a show Nickelodeon would pick up easily. That was just, when I think of places it would be at, Nickelodeon just seems like the right fit. Because, yeah, it's just a cool little, like, it's basically designed to be, like, a playable kids show from the 90s. Or maybe early 2000s. Like, I'm just, it's really cool. It's really cool. I really like Battletoads a lot, and I think if you are a fan of the 90s aesthetic, like, just old arcadey type games, but maybe you don't miss the way they played, because, obviously with this, it's more fine tuned. You know, you've got a higher frame rate, that sort of stuff, so it'll play a little nicer. You know, but yeah, if you miss that gameplay, Battletoads will scratch that itch for you. And if you have Game Pass, 100% check it out, like for sure. Like I honestly heavily recommend you check it out if you have Game Pass. If you don't, then it's more if that's your niche, you know. If I think it's worth $20, like it's $20 is pretty cheap by game standards, so I think it's worth it if that's your niche. If not, you know, maybe just kind of like watch some gameplay, see what you think. But yeah, I think Battletoads is not something to be slept on. I think it's really cool. I don't think it's necessarily groundbreaking or anything like that. And like I compared it to Shovel Knight, but I mean, Shovel Knight is just an amazing game in its own right. That's also a love letter to 8-bit. Not to say that Battletoads isn't a good game, but it leans more on the nostalgia than Shovel Knight does. Shovel Knight is just great on its own, and the 8-bit aesthetic is just, you know, a cherry on top. Battletoads does lean a little bit on the nostalgia, but that's by no means saying it's a bad game. But yeah, just, you know, when I compare it to Shovel Knight, I compare it more in the terms of like their aesthetic helping them versus, you know, actual like quality of gameplay. Like they're not at that same level, because I would say Shovel Knight is the better game, but Battletoads does similar things that Shovel Knight has done, if that makes any sense. But yeah, I rambled on a lot about Battletoads, but you know, that's fine, because I honestly feel like it's going to be a semi-shorter episodes today anyway, because we're really just talking about Microsoft Flight Simulator, and I don't really have a whole lot to say about it because I haven't played a whole lot, but I did want to get my first impressions out there and talk about what it will do for the gaming industry, because I think it's a really big deal and people should be talking about this more. But I'm going to take a drink real quick. I love Gatorade. Sorry. I try to explain what I'm doing, not for my YouTube listeners, but for my just regular audio listeners to just hear a cut, especially because Gatorade, I like chug that crap. Like I would definitely have this finished by now, but I'm trying to pace myself because I don't have another one with me. I have some water, but I don't have a ton of water with me because I haven't filled it up. So I'm trying to pace myself a little bit. But yeah, like with the pauses and everything like that, I'm just trying to help the audio listeners from being confused. But next game, which comes out tomorrow, is Samurai Jack Battle Through Time for PlayStation 4, Xbox One, Nintendo Switch, and PC, which a lot of people are really excited about, and I applaud them for it. Now, full disclosure, I have not watched Samurai Jack all the way through. I remember when it was airing, you know, I would occasionally see it on Cartoon Network, but I never really watched through it. So this is not 100% the game for me, but like it's something that I genuinely might check out if the reviews are really good, because it looks really good. So become Samurai Jack, the greatest warrior across time, journey through time to finally stop Aku's evil reign in this new adventure told by the creators of Samurai Jack. So if you are a Samurai Jack fan, honestly, I have high hopes for you. I think it's going to be a cool game. It looks really cool. I like the aesthetic. I think this is going to be a nice game for Samurai Jack fans. So if you're a fan, I think you have cause to be excited for this, and it comes out tomorrow. So hopefully you enjoy. Hopefully the reviews are good. I'm really excited to see the reviews for it because I have a good feeling about this game. And regardless, I mean, it might just be an excuse for me to watch Samurai Jack because I know it's a great show, and so I just, you know, I might have to just be like, okay, let's watch this show and see what this is all about. The problem is I have too many shows I want to watch. We're going to go off on a tangent real quick. So this is on my watch list right now. So I've been watching South Park because I've been streaming it. So that's a big thing. And I have been... I'm 3 episodes away from being fully caught up on My Hero Academia, which is one of the greatest animes ever made. It's fantastic, and my eyes look terrible. I put in contacts this morning. Also, I have contacts now. I was going to say that a while back. So yeah, that's a complicated story that I don't really like, but I have contacts now. We'll see how long that lasts. But anyway, yeah, I've got I do have Attack on Titan as well that I'm trying to catch up on. I'm on season 2, and that might be my favorite anime, just period. It's so good. Like, I love My Hero Academia. It will always hold a special place in my heart. But Attack on Titan, it's so good. Like, it has the best plot out of any anime I've ever seen. And to be fair, I haven't seen a whole lot of anime, so, you know, I don't have a whole lot to go off of, but it's really good. And I also just started Mob Psycho 100. I watched the first episode. I'm excited to see more. But yeah, I've been watching all those. I also have just a couple episodes of Watchmen left that I really need to finish, and I want to watch Chernobyl. And so those are all shows that I'm trying to watch. And everybody's like, watch Lovecraft Country, watch The Umbrella Academy, watch this, watch that. And it's like, how do y'all have the free time for this? Like, I haven't watched TV shows in, it's been at least a few days. I've had zero time because it's just been so busy this week. It hasn't, since I've been home, I haven't watched any TV. But yeah, it's been crazy, but I want to watch all this stuff. Yeah, anyway, long tangent over. I'm just trying to fill out time on this podcast, okay? Whatever. Also, tomorrow we got PGA Tour 2K21 for PS4, Xbox One, Nintendo Switch, PC, and Google Stadia. Reppin' the Googs. So play against the pros, play with your crew. In PGA Tour 2K21, you can play by the rules or create your own, featuring a new PGA Tour career mode, licensed courses, and more. Powered by the Golf Club. Had to add that in there. So one thing I think is interesting is it says a new PGA Tour career mode. So did they not have a career mode before this? I've never played a PGA Tour. But, you know, reviews are starting to come in. They're good, you know. It's like Battletoads. They're good, not great. Yeah, I mean, it's a thing. If you like golf, one of these days I'll pick it up. I'll probably pick it up since it's on Google Stadia, and I just own every game on Stadia for reasons I'm not fully aware of. But, Gabe, I hope you're watching this. But, yeah, so PGA Tour, that comes out tomorrow. On Tuesday, this is an interesting game. Kandagawa Jet Girls comes out for PS4 and PC. From the creators of Senran Kagura, the future's wettest and wildest new sport is here. Join one of 7 teams and race through Tokyo's waterways on futuristic jet machines, using water weapons to blow your opponents back onto dry land. So here's the thing. Just look up some screenshots of this game. It is a game about exploiting Japanese women. That's all I got. It's not genuine. Like, there's nothing like horrible, but it's definitely for the Japanese boys. That's what it's for. So, if you're into that, go ahead, I guess. But that's coming out on Tuesday. So, also on Tuesday, the special editions for Madden NFL 21. So if you ordered like the best version, I don't even remember what it's called, of Madden 21, you'll be able to play it on PS4, Xbox One, and PC on Tuesday. Rise to fame in Madden NFL 21. A new generation is leaving its mark on the NFL. Will you rise to the occasion, change the game, and take control of your own legacy? So, this is the exact same description as they always give, because I challenge you to find something that's not accurate to any other Madden game. However, one of the new things they're doing this year is they have sort of like what FIFA did last year, is that they're adding a sort of not underground, but like more casual football arcade experience, in the same way that it was, what do they call it? It's something with a V, Volta. Because I played it, because I have FIFA 20, but sort of like the Volta mode in FIFA 20. I forget what they're calling it for Madden, but they've got their own like new like arcade-ish football mode. So that's gonna be their new thing. Also, this is the first next gen game. Because if you buy this game for I believe PS4, I think they've confirmed it. For sure, Xbox One, you'll be able to upgrade to the next gen versions at no additional cost. So this is technically you buying your first next gen game if you choose to buy it. So, you know, if I'm gonna check it out, I'm gonna check it out on PC. So, you know, it's not really next gen. I mean, it's already next gen for me, kinda. I don't know, like whatever. Also on Tuesday, No Straight Roads for PS4, Xbox One, Nintendo Switch, and PC. Start a rock band and end the EDM empire in No Straight Roads, a rock and action adventure that mashes together rhythm-infused third-person combat with a kick-ass soundtrack. So if you're into like rhythm-based games, because they've been making a real resurgence, like not in the sense of like Rock Band and Guitar Hero, but I think they've taken like a next step. Like, instead of just being, you know, music simulation games, it's now about incorporating rhythm into gameplay with games like Beat Saber and Pistol Whip, and now this, and then whatever that one game was, the game that's basically Doom but with rhythm that was announced during IGN's Summer of Gaming. That looks really cool too. I like the stuff here. I like the cool rhythm-based games that are coming out because they're really cool and innovative, and this seems like one that's also trying to take advantage of that like area of gaming. So if you're interested in that sort of stuff, that comes out on Tuesday for pretty much everything. Also on Tuesday, Vader Immortal, a Star Wars VR series for PlayStation VR. So this is a cinematic interactive experience that lets you step inside a galaxy far, far away into the role of a smuggler operating near Mustafar, the fiery planet that Darth Vader calls home. You'll find yourself in a grand adventure where you can hone your lightsaber skills, navigate dangers, and come face to face with Vader himself. So I've played a little bit of this. I have an Oculus Quest, and so it was the first game that I bought for the Quest because I wanted something that could really show off its capabilities, and it's pretty fun. It's pretty fun. I wouldn't call it like the most amazing thing in the world. I don't think it's like the best VR game out there. But if you are a big Star Wars fan, then I would really recommend this because it's really cool to step into the shoes, be able to wield a lightsaber. I think it was kind of like they added the lightsaber dojo and that really helped its success, but it just seems like all people really want to do in a Star Wars VR game is be able to wield a lightsaber and do cool lightsaber stuff. And it seems like this game, it's like the game wasn't made for that, but they realized they needed to have it, so they just kind of shoehorned it in a little bit. Versus like it's such an easy call. Like how did they not think that people just wanted to mess around with a lightsaber in VR? And just be able to create a game around that concept versus it's just sort of feels like it was, like I said, like shoehorned in. Like it's weird. Like the direction of this game is weird, but it's not a bad game at all. And again, if you are a huge Star Wars fan, I would really recommend it. But it comes out on PSVR on Tuesday, so it's no longer Oculus exclusive. So yeah. Also, I want to make a quick note. Death End Request 2, a game that came out on PC last week, is coming out for PS4 on Tuesday. I mentioned that last week's podcast, and I also talked about it. So if you're a fan of horror JRPGs, and you don't own a PC but own a PS4, that's coming out on Tuesday for you. If you want more information on that, you can look at last week's podcast or, just do some research yourself. But yeah, it's coming out on PS4 on Tuesday, so I wanted to mention that as well. So, now, getting into the gaming news. I'm going to take another quick Gatorade drink, so some ASMR for you guys. I wanted to see if it would track my gulps. I don't think it picked it up. Anyway. So, big news. Just came out today. Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War was finally confirmed. Even though it was technically confirmed on Doritos bags before this. But, yes. Activision has finally come out and confirmed that, it's going to be set in the Cold War. So, it will take place during the 20th century. Geopolitical conflict between the United States and the USSR. And so... yeah, I'm expecting this to be, well, first, it's being both developed by both Treyarch and Raven, and so, I'm expecting this to sort of be them trying to, like, do what they did with Modern Warfare to the Black Ops franchise, and just basically be a reboot of World at War. That's just what I'm expecting. I'm not necessarily saying that's a bad thing, because I love Modern Warfare, but, I think that's just what we should expect out of this game. So hopefully we'll get some more info soon. I know with coronavirus, it's been been a big cause of why we're not getting information as quickly as we used to. But I'm hoping we get some more info soon because like around this time we would have already been getting multiplayer gameplay, and now we're just finally getting an announcement. Again, like I understand why, but it is a bummer. So I'm hoping that we can, this is getting the ball rolling, and I hope they can keep the momentum going. Instead of, continuing to drag things out, because that just seems to be the thing that game developers are doing. I'm looking at you, WB Montreal. Release your freaking game. I really had to censor myself there. No, I'm not even release it. Just release something about it. We all know it's called Batman Gotham Knights, and we all know it's going to be about the Court of Owls. You don't have to spend 2 years promoting a game without announcing it. Like, I love Batman games. I'll still probably be excited for this, but... this is freaking ridiculous. This is the worst market. I'm not even going to get into this. It was stupid. Anyway, next up, Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 2. their two creative leads have just been fired unexpectedly, and they had no idea. Like, they've come out and said that it came as a shock to them. We have no idea why, but their narrative leads have been fired, and so Paradox, they came out with a statement saying that, these changes to the team are focused on one thing: to bring you the best possible Vampire the Masquerade game. This happens just after they delayed it to next year, and so, if they are saying that the creative team is bad, I'm not 100% convinced this is even gonna make it to next year. Like, I don't, like, how far back in development are they if they're getting rid of the creative leads, which is pretty much where you start on a game like this. Yeah, it's worrying me, because I was getting really excited for Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 2, which is it's an absurd name for the game, if I'm being honest, but I'm just gonna call it Bloodlines 2. But I was excited for it. I wasn't at first. I was like, what is this game? Like, I never played the original, and so I was like, I was like curious, but I wouldn't say excited. But then it was really the trailer that they showed at the Xbox showcase that I was like, okay, I'm down with this. It looks cool. And so I was getting excited for it, and then they delayed it to next year, and now it's like things seem to be falling apart on a development scale. And so, yeah, I'm a little worried. I'm a little worried about it, but that's a thing. And just, yeah. So, also, Oculus VR will now start requiring Facebook accounts, and users are not happy. So they announced that in October, everyone using an Oculus device will need to log in with a Facebook account. So they're getting rid of Oculus accounts, and it's just going to be 100% through Facebook, which is a move that I'm shocked anybody didn't see coming. I just logged in with my Facebook account anyway because it was just easier for me. And yes, I understand that Facebook is... I mean, Mark Zuckerberg is an evil man. Let's be honest here. The amount of information Facebook has on you, yeah, they do a lot of nefarious stuff, especially with politics and things like that. Facebook's not a great company, and I try not to affiliate myself with Facebook more than I have to. But it's like, I don't know. Like, it's to the point where it's like, if you're upset, get rid of your Oculus. Like. I get it. Like, I totally get people's frustrations with it, and I'm not necessarily too thrilled with Facebook getting into my gaming life. Like, I will never use Facebook gaming. It's ridiculous, and I'm a little scared to see how heavily integrated it will be with the next Xbox now that Xbox is partnering with them. But I don't know, man. I don't know. Like, it's almost to the point where it's like, can you even avoid Facebook at this point because of how much power it has? And it's kind of like, it's sad to come to that conclusion, because it's like, you can always fight it and stuff like it's the same thing with Google. I just think that Google is more of like our peaceful overlords. If Google wanted to take over the world, they could have done it by now. I mean, stop kidding yourselves. And I feel like Facebook could also too. But yeah, I don't know. I have a very neutral response to this. It's sort of just out of like, I'm only gonna hurt myself if I throw a fit, because Facebook's not gonna lose any money off of me. Like, it's still making and that's a very stupid stance to take, because again, if everybody thinks that, that's the problem. That's basically the same stance as I shouldn't go vote because it's not going to change anything, which I don't have that stance. I'm going to make that very clear. But yeah, I don't know. I'm tired of it. I'm just tired of being upset. So I'm just like, yeah, okay, whatever, fine. Also, something that was saddened to me. So Deathloop has been delayed to 2021. We're getting more and more delays, which again, I understand because COVID. But yeah, this is the new game from Arcane Studios, aka the people that made, why am I forgetting the name? Dishonored. It's literally one of my favorite games of all time. But yeah, it's been delayed to 2021. It was supposed to be a PS5 launch game, and it was going to be a time exclusive on the PS5. But it's been delayed to next year. And so, I mean, I'm impressed with the basis of the game, like what the game is trying to do. But in terms of like a graphical standpoint, I didn't think the game looked too great. So I'm hoping the delay means that they can make it look prettier. I hope that that's one of the things they're working on, because I wasn't really that impressed with the technical aspect of it in terms of just like graphics. So I'm hoping they can touch that up a bit because I wasn't super impressed by that. But like gameplay wise, I was never worried because Dishonored has one of the best. I mean, both Dishonored 1 and 2, like the gameplay is great, and like same with Prey. Like I have faith in Arcane Studios to deliver a good game. I figured if there were going to be problems, it was going to be on a technical aspect. So this delay, I'm okay with it. I'm okay, and I'm excited to play it on PS5 when it comes out, or on PC if it comes. Whatever, probably PS5. Let's be honest here. So next up, Ghost of Tsushima Legends got announced, which is really exciting to me. I loved Ghost of Tsushima. So it's a free online co-op mode coming this fall. So it's Jin is not involved in this. This is basically just going to be about like Japanese mythology, which is really cool. I'm a huge mythology guy, and so I'm really excited about this. And so it's not Jin. Basically, you get to choose between 4 classes. So the story is about 4 warriors. And so each one is a different class you get to select. There is the samurai, the hunter, the ronin, or the assassin. I'll probably go with the ronin because I feel like my buddy's going to want to be samurai, and I'll let him have that. And so I feel like ronin will probably be my class because, I mean, everybody can agree the assassin stuff in this game is not super great. It's not even that horrible. I think some critics go a little too harshly on it, but the stealth stuff is not near as fun in this game. And so, yeah, I'm probably not going to go with assassin, but yeah, whatever. But I'm excited about this. I'm really excited about this, to have an excuse to jump back into Ghost of Tsushima and play with my friend, because literally when the game came out, I got in a party chat with my best friend, and we would play it like together, but not like we would play it at the same time, and it would be like, yo, I just experienced this. And so like that was our way of playing it together. And so I'm excited to actually have a way to genuinely play Ghosts with my friend, because we both love that game. And so yeah, it's getting a co-op mode this fall. I'm very excited about it. I'm really genuinely excited about this game, about this expansion co-op thing. Yeah, it's really cool. And if you haven't played Ghosts already, go play it, because it's fantastic and one of the best games of the year, if not the best. So, honestly, yeah, like it's definitely a game of the year contender for me. But anyway, let's get into something that could quite possibly be game of the year. I don't know. It's Microsoft Flight Simulator, and this is a game that came out a few days ago. I will say I was part of the debacle of installation issues. If you follow me on Twitter at wait. I don't know what my Twitter thing is. I don't know. I think it's Plumley-Landon. I don't know. Let's look it up because it's gonna drive me nuts now that I'm thinking about it. It's Plumley_Landon. There we go. So that's my Twitter. But if you follow me on there, and if you don't, you should. I have a notification on Twitter. Okay, never mind. Yeah, it took like 5 tries to install this game, because it's not like, Steam or other, like how things are now, where it just installs the whole thing before you even launch the game. It's where you download the installer, and then the game like installs itself, which is how it used to be in the good old days. But then, now we have all these services that do it for us. But yeah, it's taking things back old school. But it was trash because I'm assuming it's because everybody was trying to download the game at launch, and that's why it wouldn't work, because there was no preload technically. Besides, you could preload the installer, but you couldn't actually install the game. And so I assume it's because everybody was trying to download the game, but I could not play it. So it took me a day to actually start playing the game because it would not download. But when I actually got to playing, this game is freaking awesome. Like, it is so freaking cool. I literally have not even played the genuine game yet. I literally just played like 2 hours of tutorials because this game is complex. Now, for those of you who are like really just want an easy experience and have never played a flying sim before, you can put it on easy. Like, I've listened to different podcasts and people talking about the game, and I was told like on the easy mode it's like flying in GTA. So it doesn't have to be complicated if you don't want it to be. I had it on the default, so I was navigating different instruments and like adjusting trim and doing the thrusters and different things like that. But nothing like super duper complicated. But it can get really complicated if you want it to. Like, this is legitimately how they teach people to fly planes. So, like, it gets super, super complex to the point where you're just legitimately flying a plane almost. And so, like I said, I had it on like the default settings, so I had it fairly complicated. And even then, it probably took me like an hour to get the hang of. But then, I'm by no means a pro flight sim player, but and I also played on mouse and keyboard. I don't have a flight stick, but my roommate in college does, so I was thinking about testing that out at some point, seeing how that feels. But yeah, it's really cool. It's really freaking cool. And the main reason I think it's so cool is because it's integrated with Bing Maps, which Bing, okay, whatever. But like, it's integrated with Bing Maps to provide up-to-date weather information and traffic data. So basically how Microsoft Flight Simulator works, it is transferring 2 petabytes, that is 2,000 terabytes of data constantly to their servers, which then they update. So wherever you are, it will have the actual weather that is going on in that region. And any planes that are flying in that region, you will see, as well as the data of everybody playing. Now, you can turn these settings off, but why would you want to? But so anybody that is playing Microsoft Flight Simulator and is flying around your region will be loaded in. Now, this is Earth on a 1-to-1 scale. Anywhere on Earth that like Bing Maps has covered, you can go to. And so it is insane. It is nuts. Like, you can go to North Korea if you want to. I don't know. It's probably not super detailed, but you can go to North Korea. There's an airport in North Korea that you can fly out of and fly to. And so, just saying, that's a thing in this game. What was I saying? You can literally go see your house. You can go fly by your house. It might look a little wonky because, again, it's basically just whatever Bing Maps has is what it's integrated with. But you can go fly by your house. You can go land at your nearest airport and just chill, Like, I could go to Fort Wayne International Airport. That's the closest airport to my house. I can go fly by my house. I can go fly to the Indy Airport. I can go to my university. All that stuff. I hate that I'm shaking this so flippin' much. Sorry, YouTube people. But it's nuts. It's nuts. Now, obviously, it's not going to like load in everything because, again, it's transferring 2 petabytes of data. So you as a player are not getting all of that 2 petabytes. You're just getting what's around you. So depending on how beefy your PC is will depend on the area of your game that's loaded for you. But it is basically streaming the data around you to your PC as you're playing. And like, as you travel, it'll stream new data for, area that you're going to and that sort of thing. And so that's how it works. And so that's how it's doable. And it's absolutely nuts. Like, I have never seen a game able to do this. And that's why it's getting all the amazing reviews, is because on a technical, like, this is the most next-gen thing I've ever seen. More than anything showcased on PlayStation or Xbox. Like, this, I think, is the future of games, because this was something, again, I was listening to a podcast and they were bringing up. What about the next Forza? Like, I don't think Forza Motorsport, seeing as it's like a professional racing sim, I don't think it'll incorporate too much. But think about Forza Horizon 5 when that comes out. What if it also had Bing integration and you could just literally travel the world and you could go drive by your house? Like, think about how nuts that would be. Like, especially because, with Flight Sim, it's like they don't really need to code the streets, but like this would be even bigger. Like a genuine just race wherever. And like not even the world. Like that's huge. But like, take for instance like the United States. I don't even know if they would do that, but they would probably do something different because that's too similar to the Crew. But like, make a country on a 1-to-1 scale, integrate Bing Maps, and you can drive anywhere. You can drive all the roads. They literally just copy and paste the Bing data into the Forza code, and you can drive anywhere. Like, that would be nuts. And then again, like, they test it out on just a country, and if it's successful, then maybe they do the whole world for a Horizon 6. I mean, the possibilities that this does, like the fact that they're able to successfully pull this off, be able to fly anywhere in the world, and then, again, like, I think this could transfer to a Forza game, or like, who knows what other games they could do this with. It's super freaking cool. Like, think about Ubisoft, like with the Watch Dogs games. Like Watch Dogs 2, people were like, is such an accurate representation of San Francisco. But like, think of games outside of Microsoft that it could incorporate things like this, like Google Stadia incorporating Google Maps data into one of their games. Like, it's so cool. Like, the possibilities for this, like being able to make settings just that much more realistic. Yeah, it's nuts. It is nuts. I think this is a huge deal. Like, people, I cannot stress enough what this could potentially mean for next gen, incorporating like real life data just to make the settings in your video games that much more lifelike and that much more accurate. I just think is really cool. Like, it's not going to necessarily affect every single video game going forward, but video games that do take advantage of real life settings or try to be on the simulation aspect of things, this is a big deal, and I think this is something that people shouldn't sleep on. And also, this game is coming to Xbox One, which honestly, I don't know how it's going to run on the 2013 Xbox One. Like, I have no clue. But I hope this is a launch game for the Series X. I think with Halo Infinite's delay, I have absolutely no reason to buy a Series X. Like, there's no reason for me to buy one. I'm getting a PS5 for sure, but I don't know if I'm going to get a Series X, at least at launch. I will eventually get it, but there's no reason for me to get it at launch right now. However, if they were to come out with Flight Simulator, and again, you could make the case that I don't need to since I have it on PC, but I'd be really interested to see how it would run on the Series X, because I think that's the only thing capable. I don't know how it would run on an Xbox One. And if it does come to Xbox One still, which, like I say, I'm doubting, but if they do come out with an Xbox One, I will for sure try it out, because I'm very interested to see how it will run on that piece of hardware. Granted, I have a 1X, so it'll probably run fairly decent on my 1X, but I would love to see how it would run on an original Xbox, because it's a beefcake. It struggles to run on my brand new laptop, which has a 2070 in it. I mean, like, I shouldn't say struggle. Like, I had the settings too high, but like, yeah, it's a nuts. It's a beefcake of a game. And so, but yeah, I really hope it's a launch game for the Series X. Like, I don't know. I think the reason that they haven't announced it now is because they're not 100% sure that they can make it to that launch date. I feel like it's probably a COVID thing, and probably just, because they are kind of handicapped by putting it on a console. It's definitely best played on PC. And so I don't think they're super confident on it being a launch title, but I feel like that's the goal. Like, I feel like that's what they're working towards. It's just they're not 100% confident they can meet that date, which is November 6th. I'm saying it right now, because they leaked it with the packaging. Some people have said, because this has happened before, where controllers have come out before the consoles, like a week before, just for like supply reasons. And so people are saying that it's going to come out on the 13th. However, releasing your console on Friday the 13th is tempting fate. Don't do it, Microsoft. So I'm saying that it's November 6th is when we're getting the Series X and the Series S, which was also confirmed through the controllers. Yeah. Because another update on that whole situation is that, so basically when any shipment of electronics comes, and I know this because I worked at a Walmart for a summer, I was in the back, but basically when a shipment comes, there's like a cardboard box that all the stuff comes in, and it'll have like a sticker on it that says, do not open until whatever date, there's a term for it, but like the date it's supposed to go out on the shelves. And the date for the controllers, because we saw a picture of that box, the date for the controllers was November 6th. And so the controllers are releasing on November 6th. Now, again, there is the possibility they come out with it earlier, because it has happened before. I think it was the 360. They released the controllers earlier than the console. So, it's perfectly logical. But again, if they're planning on releasing on Friday the 13th, I mean, it's like Xbox wants to fail at this point. So I'm going with the 6th. I think it's the 6th. And I hate how my camera just unfiltered itself for no reason, but we're going with it. I spend time adjusting it because people say the light is too bright, and then after a certain amount of time it just reverts back to normal. I don't know why, but yeah, so now you get to see how white I really am. So yeah. Anyway, I went off on a tangent there. But Microsoft Flight Simulator, if you have a decent enough PC, I cannot tell you enough, check it out. And hopefully it comes to Xbox soon so that even more people can check it out, because I legitimately think it is a huge thing for games. And I'm going to continue talking while I reconfigure the settings for my camera, because it's going to drive me nuts. And so, yeah. Anyway, so games I've been playing this week. We're going to talk a little bit about that before I skirt out of here. And so, this is not going to look good because I'm doing it while also talking, so I'm not super duper focused on it. This is not going to look good at all. But anyway, again, I've been playing some Microsoft Flight Simulator. Not a ton of it because, again, like, it was taking a while for it to install and everything like that. I do not like how I look at all. But, we're trying our best. Whatever. I don't care. That's good enough. And so we played some Microsoft Flight Simulator. I played a little bit of Battletoads. Again, I've been streaming all of this stuff over twitch.tv/PandaMasterTwitch. So make sure to go follow there if you haven't already. I'm going to continue to advertise myself because I need it. Also, I streamed some Wasteland Remastered. That's an awful game. It's a very old game. It's from the 80s, and they just touched it up here, but it's not great. If you are not a fan of the original, like if you didn't play the original or just trying to like play it, don't do it. It's not great. So I played it for like an hour and a half and couldn't do it anymore. I'm never touching that game again. I've been playing a little bit more South Park, The Fractured But Whole. That game is really offensive. Like, again, like if you're watching this, JoJo, not Nintendo the company, but it's a guy I know, JoJo. If you're watching this, buddy, I mean, great to you that you love this game. I'm very torn about it because I think the combat is miles better than the Stick of Truth. Although I enjoyed the Stick of Truth's combat as well, I just think like they have done so many great things to like revitalize the combat and just make it that much better. So I really love the combat in The Fractured But Whole. But the game, I'm going to try to find a good way to explain this. So, South Park is obviously an offensive TV show, but, it's satire, and so you just have to go into it knowing that they're going to make some jokes that could be taken as offensive, but they're just, it's satire, and you can talk about, where's the line and that sort of stuff. But the thing about South Park is that it is not consistently offensive. Like, there's a line, and it likes to tread that line. But it's all about, knowing your thing and not to tread it too much. To the point where it just gets gross. Like, the amount of offensive stuff you're doing. It's just, it knows when to take things back a notch and, still have, like, a good plot. But The Fractured But Whole, and again, it hasn't been the entire game, but there's just been like hours of content where I've just been uncomfortable playing the game because there's just so much offensive stuff happening at one time with like no break. Like there's no palate cleanser, and I just feel dirty for playing the game. And it's like, yeah, it's just that, like, I did a mission where I had to go stop a drug lord who was just a black man living in his home. And especially with 2020, it was uncomfortable playing that. And then there was a whole mission in a strip club that just went on and was just continuing to be offensive and just very misogynistic. And it's like, again, this is South Park's formula. And I think, in small doses, it's, again, taking it as satire and just knowing that it is, done on purpose. I personally think it's okay. But again, I don't fault anybody for not liking the show. I think that there's plenty of reason to not like South Park. But yeah, I just feel like this game takes it too far. And it's not to the point where it's like, I think it's a bad game by any means. It's just a lot of times I genuinely feel uncomfortable playing it. And I'm going to finish it. I want to, see it through. But, like, it's very hard to tell. Like, on a gameplay aspect, I enjoy it a lot more than the Stick of Truth. but just it's very uncomfortable. It's a very uncomfortable game to play. And so, yeah, I have very confusing feelings about the Fractured Butthole, but I'm playing it. So that's what it's another thing I've been doing this week. I've been doing some more Ring Fit, trying to get more fit. Hey, that kind of sounded cool, I guess. I don't know. Played a little bit more Fall Guys. I still have not won yet. Over on my Twitch, I have a poll, which you guys should go vote for if you haven't already. Talking about what game I should play next. Right now, Fall Guys is in the lead. But yeah, I still haven't won yet. I spent one night, I was like, I'm going to play until I win. And then I choked 4 times. I was in the final one, and I choked. I choked, guys. I'm like, what is it, Tim the Tin Man or whatever the heck his name is on Twitch. I think he did win, though. I think he just recently won. He finally got a win. But I still haven't. So, am I good at Fall Guys? No, but I enjoy it. It's a great game, and if you haven't played it yet, you freaking should. It's $20 on Steam, and it's free on PlayStation with PS Plus, so go play it if you haven't. I also played a little bit of the Marvel's Avengers beta, which is something I should have talked about more at length, and I kind of forgot about. So I think it's just because, it's been almost a week. Tomorrow I'm going to be jumping into the open beta, just to test out server stuff mostly, because I've kind of experienced everything I want to in the beta, to where it's like I haven't completed everything in the beta, but I just feel like I'm not gaining anything else from the beta, and it's not even that I think it's a bad game. I have very complicated feelings about Avengers, because I think it's very hard to tell what the game's going to be like based off of the beta, because the beta gives a variety of different stuff that you can do. I think it was a good way of experiencing the type of things that we're going to be able to do in Avengers, but it's not very communicative of whether or not the game will be good, because I think with a games as a service game, a lot of whether or not the game is successful will be determined by player retention. And so, whether or not you can keep people interested in the game, which a lot has to do with mid-game. So, like Fallout 76, a game I think is kind of underrated, but I do understand a lot of the criticisms for, and I've been meaning to check back out, especially since the Wastelanders DLC came out. But, I enjoyed the game, but my issue with it was the mid-game. And I think that's ultimately the reason why it failed, is because I think there was a lot of really cool stuff at the start, and it had a lot of promise, and I think the end game is really cool, being able to, kind of like have that ending to, in a sense, and just, have a little bit of story there. Even like it's more of a story that you can create, but there's still something to go off of. But the mid game is so drug out, and it's so just unnecessarily long and difficult and grindy, and there's just not much to gain there, and you just have to get through it as best you can. And that was part of the problem I had with the original Destiny, not so much so with Destiny 2, except for the Shadowkeep expansion. The Shadowkeep expansion is the worst thing that Bungie has ever put out, in my opinion. Yeah, you need to keep me interested, and you need to give me reason to keep going. And I feel like Fallout 76 dropped the ball on that. I feel like Destiny 1 dropped the ball on that. Shadowkeep dropped the ball on that. And that's something that I can't figure out based off of the beta, because we're just getting like cherry-picked missions and such. And it's very hard to tell, because a lot of, the determining factors is going to be, how well put together the game is, and, how much stuff we're going to be able to continue to get throughout the game, how much time we're going to be able to spend on it, and how much time they're promising to give us in the future. So yeah, it's really difficult to tell. I think this game could easily be a 9 out of 10. I think it could easily be a 4 out of 10. If I had to guess what the review scores are going to be, I would say either it's going to be lots of 5s and 6s, I would imagine, is what the review scores are going to be. But again, it's very difficult to tell, because a lot of it's going to have to do with mid-game and just how much content they put in this that's actually different and unique and will keep people interested. And so, yeah, I really want this game to do well, and I will be playing it on September 1st, so I'll be streaming that on my Twitch, so check that out. But, yeah, I'm going to be playing this game. I'm really excited for it. I really am excited to play all the other heroes. I enjoyed my time with Thor. I think Thor is going to just bring me back to my God of War days because I loved throwing Mjolnir and just like. But he wasn't one of the main characters in the beta. But you played the tutorial mission, which gives you a little bit of gameplay time with Thor. In fact, he's the first character you actually play in the game. I don't know if that will carry over to the final version, but it looks like it will. It looks like Thor's the first person you actually play. Yeah, I don't necessarily dislike any of the characters. I think they're really cool. I'm really excited to play as Cap. I think he was really fun too. And yeah, I think it'll be cool. I think it'll be cool for sure. Like I said, I think it will be like a 5 or 6 game. I don't think it'll be a terrible game, but I think a lot of it's going to depend on things we can't really figure out in a beta. So yeah, that's just kind of my thoughts on that. But yeah, like I said, I'm gonna play more this weekend because it'll be more traffic. So I kind of want to see how the servers will hold up. I didn't have very many problems. I played on PC, and I saw stuff on Twitter that people were saying that it was a bad PC port. There were all these issues. I never really had an issue. I had a couple hiccups here and there, but my game never crashed. I never had issues with long loading times. I know that was a problem on the PS4 version, but I didn't really have very long load times. Again, I have a pretty decent PC, so I don't know if that was part of it, but these people had these super beefy PCs, and they were saying they had all these problems with it. So I'm just saying, in my personal experience, I thought things ran pretty relatively smooth for me. So I'm interested to see what the open beta brings, if that's gonna give more issues or not. But so that's why I want to check it out. But ultimately, I've experienced a lot of stuff that I've wanted to see. It just went back to regular. But anyway, talking about the camera. But yeah, I'm very interested to see what's going on. I'm just going to get a different bulb for that eventually when I can. But anyway, yeah. So we'll see what happens. We'll see, But yeah, I'm excited to check out. I'm excited for the game to come out because that's really what I want at this point. Because I want to see how they do things. Also, one of the stupidest things is I just wish that their customizable gear was able to be seen instead of, having cosmetic outfits. I do not care about that. I know that's a Fortnite thing. That's just them trying to bring that over. But do it like Destiny. Make the gear customizable. Make me be able to make my own, customized Black Widow or Kamala Khan or Iron Man, and just have them look unique and cool. I don't care if it looks wonky. It's fun. Make the gear be visibly different when you equip it. That's what I want. That's what I really want. If I could change one thing about that game, it would be that, and it would be a 10 out of 10 for me. I don't know about that, but it would be so much better. And so I don't think we're going to get that, but if they would do that, I would be very happy. Okay, that's all I've got for today. So we're going to end the podcast. Thank you guys for listening. Hopefully next week I'll have something special for you guys. That was another thing I wanted to say. I made some references on stream talking about how I had something special planned for today that kind of fell through, but I'm hoping next week I can have something kind of special for you guys. And so thank you guys for watching / listening. Again, go follow me on Twitch at Panamaster Twitch, and go subscribe on YouTube at Panamaster if you haven't already. I try to create content fairly regularly. I'm also a college student, though, so it makes life pretty crazy, but I'm trying my best. And so, yeah, again, thank you guys. Hopefully, I will see you guys next week. All right? See you guys.